Big up to all those in YouTube land. Big up to the one and only Ola Akinde here for Wolf Den episode 11. I've been waiting nearly 3 months to get this guy on. And this guy's always been like, don't worry, RoboCop, I'll come through, don't worry. And here he is. Big up to you, brother, and how are you?
Yeah, man, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. Respect for having man still, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, man. You you support man and we ride with you, bro, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
on the real thing, I've been looking to jump on the channel for a minute, but the schedules are crazy. Um, well, we had to find a way, man, to come through, man, you know what I mean? And yeah, I just
And I'm
thought, you
happy
know
you
what?
did.
It'll be nice to chop it up with you. The season's about to start. There's a lot going on with Chelsea. There's nothing really going on with Arsenal. Um, and yeah, big card about to happen. Yo, big up Coach's Corner, man. Salute to you. Big up yourself.
Hello, baby
Um,
girl.
yes, Miss Wolfie. Shall I say, Mrs. Robocop? Big up yourself, man.
Oh no, her head forehead ain't as big as mine, bro. Her mouth is
Uh,
bigger though.
um, well, just the fact that she's Miss Wolfie, man, you know what I mean? She get Mrs. Robocop straight away, but you know what I mean? So
I'm
yeah,
very
that's how
proud of
that's
my
what it is.
missus, man.
And this weekend we got big card coming up with Easy and Dricos Duplessis, which we know it's it's a big fight. We're gonna be chopping it up on that one there as well. So yeah, there's a few things to talk about, man. I thought, yeah, man, let's come. Let me pull up on Robocop, man, and chop it up with him. You know what I mean? So respect for having, man. Still,
No
I
worries.
appreciate it.
Now, before we get into the season and the card coming up, do me a favor, right? And for me and the audience, tell me a little bit about your footballing roots. Like when did you start supporting Arsenal, and how did that come about? And I'll be right back. I'm going to quickly go do what I told her about him a second ago. So
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah,
right
yeah.
back.
Yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man. Yeah, like from back in the day, still when I was younger, Kanu was playing for Arsenal. You know what I mean? And it was one of the international players that we had at the time as well. Well, JJ Okocha was one of them, but Kanu was just elegant with it, man. You know what I mean? And just by virtue of Kanu alone, a lot of uh, a lot of fans, especially from my region in Nigeria, because I'm Nigeria by native, and yeah, a lot of us from that era, followed Kanu from Arsenal. You know what I mean? By virtue of that becoming Arsenal fans, there's load of kids, from my school, all the same, following in that footstep, man. So yeah, it's it's a big part of Nigerian culture, man. You know what I mean? Especially footballing culture. From those days, everybody just wanted to emulate these guys, the Kanus, the Daniel Amokachis, the JJ Okochas, the Peter Rufais. You know, those were the guys that really did it there. But with Kanu in the Arsenal team, that was
Special player,
thriving in
man.
those days. You know what I mean? Special individual as well by character. And yeah, everybody loved Kanu, man. So
Scored that hat trick against us. Remember that mad
yeah,
hat trick he
yeah,
got.
yeah. Um, yo, the way Kanu used to twist up players as well, man. And a lot of the time he did come off the bench. He didn't always start a lot of games, you know what I mean? Because we just riddle the superstars. But as far as Nigerians were concerned, he was our superstar. He was the guy that we looked to, you know what I mean? Scoring all those crazy goals, and like you said, one of those hat tricks against Chelsea. Um for Arsenal at the time. So yeah, it's those are interesting times. Arsenal is changed a lot since then. We're trying to regain former glory. It's not been easy. It's not been it's been it's been difficult, but you have been dominating in that time. You know what I mean? From that time on, you lot just pulled Abramovich pulled up, and Chelsea just kind of taking over the league. You know what I mean? They took over, and yeah, Abramovich gone. Here we are again. Chelsea's trying to rebuild, and it'd be nice to see where you lot are going this year, man. You know what I mean? How you feeling about your How you feeling about your squad, about your team, like
I like the
the
squad,
direction,
and,
the
and
direction you lot going at?
I like the squad and the direction, believe it or not, but it's the execution I'm a little bit concerned with. Because in modern football, we have this thing with managers that, regardless of what's blatantly in front of you and what you can see with the fans, or as fans,
Yeah,
you still end up almost gnawing your own head off because it seems like the managers of our respective teams go out of our way to deliberately annoy us. And the thing is, one, I don't rate modern football particularly highly, you know what, like, yeah, and I'll give you one reason, and it's the opposite to the MMA world, where you could argue that generally speaking, and mixed martial arts quality around the world's got better in terms of, obviously, you know for yourself about, the South African MMA games now, that's blowing up right now. There's so much talent over there. I mean, you get more and more talent coming out of the States, the Englands, I mean, like all the European fighters now that are coming around. But with football, it's almost like it's going backwards. And like, I don't really understand, because realistically, you're supposed to be raising your game, 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 right? And nowadays, I don't really see that, like, because
I mean, if if you was to look at football in comparison to MMA, as you said, big up Bargav, salute to you, Bargav, big up yourself. In comparison to MMA, football is one of the oldest sport in the country. Like, you know what I mean? Oldest sport in the world, really, and is a game that unites everyone. Now, MMA is what, 30 years old, maybe just a little bit older, but yeah, say 30, 31 years old. So it's not that old. It's still a new sport, and there's still there's still a lot of people trying to get to grips with. There are a lot of people out there that still love boxing way more than MMA. They still regard boxing as more of a sport, maybe
yeah,
even a
that's
enjoyable sport, if you like,
mm,
than what MMA is. So MMA is a new sport that's just catching on. It's catching on fast. A lot of people are recognizing it,
mm,
but the the skill set that you have to display in MMA to get an end result is way harder to put together and to learn as a professional than just a boxer, because boxing is just one aspect of what you have to do in MMA, right? But then there's other artistry that that you just have to learn
well,
as a base
the
and
thing
as
is, isn't it? The boxing scene is the traditional combat sport,
right.
because it's the one that's been around for longest, I guess. Like, other than maybe things like karate and maybe like have been always been Olympic,
Yes, yeah. But it's
but
never been put together as mixed martial arts. There's all those different disciplines like like karate. There's judo. There's wrestling. There's
jiu-jitsu.
there's all these other disciplines and layers of the sport. But the kickboxing, they've never really put it together. Muay Thai, to put everything together into one artistry, that's what's more newer. But with football, as you said, I'm trying to make the comparison, it's an old sport, and there's so much money in football. And that's why it looks like maybe it's getting worse or it's getting backward, because it's getting so diluted every single time. They're adding more rules, more rules, more rules that don't make sense, more rules that, for some of us that have been watching football a long time, and football is so far gone as we know it. Because if you watch men's football today and WSL, you would literally see the women's football, because there's no VAR. You see the difference right there and then, because that's football as we know it. The only difference is the women are playing it in that way. At least currently, right now, that's what they're doing. I don't know whether those rules might change later. Maybe those rules will come in the future. But as of last season, last time I watched them, that's the rules they're playing under. No VAR, and they just play football. You see some nice goals. Nobody's checking it back. If the linesman raise the flag, they raise the flag, and that's it. But with MMA, like I said, it's still new. It's a new sport, and Yo, big up yourself, Leroy.
1, 2, 3,
Easy,
4.
old boy.
Fuck Leroy.
Fuck
Fuck
Leroy.
Leroy.
Fuck Leroy. What? We can say that on here. We can say that on here, yeah.
Bro, I don't intend to get monetized, bro. I'm happy with
Fuck
free speech.
Leroy, man.
Fuck Leroy. Count Dracula looking motherfucker.
Yeah, that Dracula
Big up
looking.
Leroy. Big up Leroy.
Hey, your Robocop, big up yourself for that one there, man. I like that one there, man. You know what I mean? That Dracula looking motherfucker. That's right.
But both
So-
of them, Jordan and him. Big shout out to the Rambling Dad podcast, by the way. Every time.
Salute
My boy
Rambling Dad,
Jordan.
man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy when you compare, say, boxing to as a sport, and there's way more money in boxing as well than there is in MMA. As you know, all the MMA fighters want to go into boxing and earn that bag, even though they know they might lose. You know what I mean? Because a lot of their tools as a practitioner is being restricted into just one aspect of what they train for, which is just boxing, versus somebody that trains for boxing all the time, every time. You know what I mean?
He's been studying tape.
It's not gonna happen.
Leroy, apparently Ola didn't believe me when I said to him about I did that takedown of that guy at work, and I got
man was telling me about the takedown still. I thought, all right, you know what?
Leroy's seen the proof. Remember, you got to destroy it after you've watched it. It's like,
what, it doesn't self what? It doesn't self-destruct. I thought that's what Robo. I thought that's the kind of self Robo.
No, that's Mission Impossible, bro. Robocop never self-destructed, bro. That's Mission Impossible.
You need to be evolving with the times, bro. You know what I mean? Move like Transformer and shit. You get me?
You madman! I think that
move
hat
like
you're
Iron,
wearing, bro.
move like Iron Man. You know,
bro,
you know
I swear that hat,
Iron...
yeah, big man. With that hat, you got a fisherman's hat on. Yeah, don't even all the little jokes I could bring up. Do you want to be a fisherman? Bro. Yes, I will. All that kind of stuff. Like,
you know what they say about fish. There's plenty of them in the river, bro.
In the sea,
yeah, man.
Here you go. Hang on. My my two favorite Jamaican women. Shut your face, Scotty. No one asked you.
Oh my
big
God.
up Rosie. Muay is nice. Yep. Went for a high crotch single leg. Used it to put against the wall. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did to the guy. Actually, I pinned him on the wall. Pretty much. Yeah, but big up Leroy. Big up E Ross in the building as well. Another Arsenal fan. Big up, bro. You ain't gonna feel lost here. We got Arsenal fans all about the place tonight. Big up the chat. The fight week showing if you believe that about a menu. Can I interest you in time sharing? Rosie,
don't do this to me, Rosie. Man.
Don't just lose an accumulator or something. Just go make a bet or something. Big up Stepsy and Ola from Ola, and says big up Wolfie and Ola. Big up brother as well. Hope you're doing good.
Yes,
now,
Stepsy.
Now you explained your football roots a bit because you said about the canoes. Was you a fan of Will Todd back in the day as well?
Yeah, man. Like, yo, Sylvia and Will Todd.
That's one of my favorite Arsenal strikers.
Yeah,
very
bro. He like some of these names that the Gilbertos, the Silva Will Todds, even the Canos, like I said, coming.
Bro, I'll drop a Perry Groves, bro. I'll drop a Perry Groves and see who remembers a Perry
Yeah.
Groves. Who remembers Perry Groves?
Like one of the best defenders that we had out of our time as well, man. So top. Like they don't make him like those no more, bro. They don't make him like Perry Groves no more, but like what I mean. Yeah, top level defenders. People that just live to defend and shit, man. Like that's jam. You know what I mean?
Sol Campbell's, Tony Adams, those sort of man.
Yeah, like they don't make him like that no more, bro. But yeah.
Yeah, your MMA roots then. So how did you get into MMA then? Because you explained like how you had the certain African man repping it in like the football side. So how did you get into MMA then? Please, that's a very interesting story for me.
With MMA, it was through like watching K1 and K1 was brutal back in the day, bro. Like, you know what I mean? K1 was just different.
Remember Pride?
And yeah, and watching people like Alistair Overeem coming up was just mad. And one of the main things that really, really drove me into MMA was just hearing people like the GSPs the Randy Couture's, you know what I mean? The Anderson Silvers,
Chocolate Little.
even Shogun Rua, Chuck Liddell, Shogun Rua, Forrest Griffin, like this
BJ
man's
Penn. BJ Penn, brother.
BJ Penn, like this man's where and obviously wrestling was big in my when I was growing up. Anyway, WWE, it was called WWF when I, you know what I mean, when I was growing up. That was a real thing, you know, coming up and shit, man, growing up. But you always saw them MMA moves in movies, you know what I mean? But then you saw wrestling just in wrestling, you know. And then when you saw some of the moves in the cage that you know that you see in movies and shit, like boy, you know what? I wanna watch that competition there. I wanna see what's really going on in that sport. And it's been about, I want to say, good 17 years that I've been watching MMA and following it. But like when social media hadn't really grown, you know what I mean, watching from the old Tough all the way. Because Tough was one of my favorites. I always say on majority of the show, even when we was doing combat show with Cheek back in the day, man. God rest his soul.
R.I.P. Check,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I've always spoke highly about Tough because Tough was one of the new ways for me to get to know, you know, all the new fighters that are just coming into the promotion.
So many
And
of
now
did well.
added contender series to it now that they do on Tuesdays. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of superstars back then, you know what I mean, that just drove you to the sport. And yeah, now that you know the rise of social media has made it easy to have a community because it's just something you watch by yourself. Like I said, it's only just catching on, you know, and it's still a new sport. And the majority of the time when you watch it, you just watch it by yourself. There's nobody to really talk to about it, you know. So with the help of social media and the way the sport is rising, it's helped to now create a community where like-minded people can come and talk about the sport, you know, share experiences, opinions, and you know, talk about who their favorite fighters are. And you know, the one thing that makes it even better is you watch that and it just wins you off for WWE because
Hmm.
you know they're acting over there, but over here, what's going on is real, and this man's are trying to kill each other for real in a
Well, do you remember when
controlled
they crossed
environment.
over? Do you remember back in the day in the 90s when WWF and UFC crossed over?
Yeah, and
When Ken Shamrock and them lot first went
it,
over there.
yeah. And it was what, like I said, it was one of those. The crossover was always crazy. The same thing happened with Brock. Brock took a lot of WWE fans where you know straight over
MMA,
to
yeah.
mixed martial arts. You know, a lot of fans are just you know that were just WWE fans, didn't really know much about MMA. A lot of them went for Brock, and Brock dominated in the little time that it was up there, man. And it was good. It was good marketing. It was good marketing on their side, man. That, you know what I mean. The way I look at it, it was good. It was good marketing, man. Good marketing.
It was. It was. Well, we're gonna ask you a question. You mentioned wrestling, so was you kind of like a Stone Cold Steve Austin man? Was you like a Rock guy, Undertaker
Uh
man? Who was your wrestling hero? We all had them.
Hulk was my guy still. You know what I mean? I loved Hulk. Undertaker used to scare the fuck out of me. There was another fighter that they called Kamara. Kamara he used to
Kamala,
shit
yeah.
me up. Yeah, but that brother
Ah!
used to shit me up, bro. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? He used to shit me up,
The
man. You
white
know what I
face
mean?
mask and everything. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Do you remember Papa Shango? Do you remember Papa
Papa
Shango as
Shango.
well?
Yeah. I
Bro,
remember
that
that
was a
one.
hooligan, brother, bro. He had the
That's
hat and
you know
everything.
what I mean. Jake the Snake used to scare me up with his, you know what I mean, with his big snake when they pull up, go to the corner and pull it out. You know what I mean. So yeah, there was a few fights. You kind of look like Jake the Snake a little bit when I'm thinking about it now. I'm looking at you and I could see it with that brown dirty bag that I used to bring to the ring there with that big old snake
All
in it.
right, D'Lo Brown. Don't get excited, bro. Don't get excited. Don't get excited, D'Lo
You
Brown,
didn't
bro.
fucking go there. That's a good one, Robocop, man. That's a
Man
good
said,
one, man. I like that. I like that.
man said, I'm
I like
Jada
that.
Snake Roberts, you know, bro. You're D'Lo Brown. How about that? Or
Nah, nah.
all the nation of domination. All you lot can be the nation of domination. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Even
But
Leroy could be Owen Hart when he joined it. Do you remember? Because one thing I liked about, because this is the one thing that kind of drew me to MMA myself. When I watched wrestling back in the 90s, I don't know if you remember this, but WrestleMania 13, when they had Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, Bret Hart was my guy. Right, okay.
yeah,
That
Brett was hard still.
He was
Yeah,
hard
man. Yeah,
because
man.
he was one of the few behind it that actually technically was actually very good, and he could have probably wrestled legit because he came through the Heart Dungeon just like so many like Canadian wrestlers and stuff did.
Yeah,
And I remember when they were fighting and they had a special guest referee. Now, because this referee had to be literally because it was Bret Hart and Stone Cold, he had to be a hard nut. It was Ken Shamrock. When before he became a wrestler for them, this was like 97, 96, round about those sort of times before you got Dan Severance had come over, before Ken Shamrock became a fighter there. But I just remember how Belenchi was compared to the other two, because he was like because obviously they were still real fighters, and this is when UFC virtually had no rules.
yeah. I
So
mean, it's mad still, you know. And this is probably gonna sound crazy, but a lot of people in South Africa will relate. I'm sure you've heard of load shedding. You know what I mean? We have that in abundance back home when I was growing up. So I did miss some of this stuff, but a lot of the times when we used to have enough electric for however long, a day, 2 days, and they'd come on TV. That's when we, you know what I mean, we get the privilege of watching it. That, like I said, there wasn't no internet to go back and look at what things were back
no,
then,
no,
man.
no,
You know what I
no, no.
mean? Like
You
it
watched
was
it live, you missed it. There weren't no recording or playback.
there was no recorder. You had black and white TV, and that was it. That was your lot, you know. So, but yeah, man, you know, I kind of give a little bit of appreciation for the state of the art or technology that you got these days, man. You know what I mean? To be able to go back into archive and look back at some of the stuff from
Well,
those
check it
eras,
out.
man.
If you haven't seen it, have a
Was mad.
look, because
Yeah, man.
that match was great.
I definitely look at that still.
Because when Bret Hart starts to even though it's acted, but when he starts to misbehave at the end of the fight, the way Ken Shamrock grabs him and just gives him a proper German suplex, and it's the way he folds Bret Hart when he does it, because it's just like you knew he completely overpowered him, and there was nothing he could have done about it, and it was just like, wow.
And that's what used to amaze me with it, like, you know what I mean, in wrestling. Like, obviously we know in real fighting, somebody that's overweight by 4 pounds in the same weight class, we know what the weight advantage and the power advantage translates in. Now, you mean to tell me that Rey Mysterio is gonna go and fight Undertaker for the world title and somehow whoop his ass and get the win? In this sport, that would never happen. It's like it's not even close,
It'd kill him.
right? And on the other end, and this is where I say, you know what I mean, watching something like a mixed martial arts competition or bout is something that eventually will just win you away from that stuff, because you just think to yourself, bro, what am I even doing here? I'm watching uh Finn Balor try to fight, I don't know, the biggest monster. Maybe they put Finn Balor trying to fight Kane, for example. You know, I'm like, come
Yeah,
on,
it makes no
this
sense.
this would never happen. You know what I mean? Like, no, in the real world of combat, that just wouldn't happen. Even in catch weight situation, they still both have to kind of weigh the same,
Yeah, or it's
because of
unfair.
that power differentiation and the weight differentiation, man. You can't make it up. It's just something you can't get around. You know what I mean? But for entertainment, it's good to watch. You know what I mean, for the young kids that's coming up, man. You know what I mean. I know some grown up watch it, but that's just for nostalgia, man. You know what I mean. But yeah, it's not me no more, though. It's not me no more. Every now and again, maybe I'll see a little highlight of some of the wrestlers I used to like, but not me no more, man. Mixed martial arts or bust. That's where I'm at. I ain't even fuck with boxing like that, bro. You know what I mean? I like boxing, but I'm what you call a casual boxing fan. I'm not. I'm not deep in the know.
Wait, what
Like
wrestler would beat Tom Aspinall? I don't think any of them would, because he'd fold them with a punch. That's a proper heavyweight you're talking about.
but Tom Aspinall will hurt a lot of those guys over there at WWE or wherever. It will hurt a lot. And them are steroid, you know what I mean, taking motherfuckers anyways. But look at 'em, you know what I mean? Them man ain't built properly, but like when you look at people that ain't on that juice, it's
Yeah.
nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. You like the Ghana Jollof? Yeah.
Right, everybody in the chat, ready? One, two,
Idiot,
three.
man.
Fuck Leroy. Everyone put it in the chat right now, so he feels at home. It's in Australia. That's actually a compliment.
Yeah, man. This man is trying to draw man up. What
Yeah,
wrestler
he
would
would
beat
do.
Tom Aspinall?
He's a clickbait merchant, mate. He's worse than the football
I've clipped
terrorist.
that all just in case you go back on it. No. Tom Aspinall will hurt a lot of those guys over there. You know what I mean?
He would. I agree with
WWE,
him.
man.
You can clip us
You know what I
both.
mean?
I'll clip with him. Like, yeah, I'll agree with
Yeah,
him.
man.
Like, he would decimate all. To be honest, because like Ola said, that these guys aren't trained to hurt each other. These guys may be trained to go the distance in whatever stuff they're doing, but it's all acted out. It's a very different fight when you got to hold someone down for 15 minutes or like exchange punches with them for 15 minutes. You don't see them looking tired in WWE how they look tired in MMA, because that's how you know they're not really fighting. If they were to fight 40-minute, you really think you could have an Iron Man match in UFC? That, can you imagine that on a UFC match going for 1 hour?
Bro.
They'd be on the floor collapsed.
Hold on. Who knocks somebody down, then walk away, go all the way to the top row, wait till that guy gets his breath back, chant up the crowd, do all that crazy shit, just for the person to get tired, get their breath back enough to jump out of the way where you jump off the top rope. Or who just runs out of the ring and runs full circle, jump into the crowd and go and sit in one of the crowd there.
You know
Who
what I
does
mean?
that? You ain't seeing that in this other sport, man, which is called MMA, man. You know what I mean? So it's just how it's just my view on it. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
When you got into it, who was your favorite?
Just my view on it.
When you got
Yeah,
into
like
it,
I
who was your
said,
favorite?
there
You
was
must have
loads
had
of them,
one.
but Hulk was my guy.
Yeah.
Like
Hulk was the guy,
Hogan, yeah, Hulk Hogan,
all that,
man.
yeah.
I used to do all that with him.
The
You know what I
6-inch
mean?
pythons, brother.
I used to get beat up for trying to rip off my shirt and that. You know what I mean? My shirt were already ragged anyways.
That I need to see, bro.
They were already ragged, bro. They were already rags anyways, man. You know what I mean? Like, bro, growing up in Africa, man, like, you didn't have no good clothes like that. You know what I mean? That shit was already ragged up anyway.
Can I ask you,
and I'm
did
trying
you
to
used to do
rip
the
it
point?
just like Okoga. I get slapped doing it.
What you doing, boy? Tearing that t-shirt.
Man. You see my old man just come out. Pal, what you trying to do? Ripping up that shirt. That shirt's gonna last you 2 years. What you doing? You know? That rag you wearing gonna last you 2 years trying to tear it up like Hulk Hogan.
That's gotta last you till you're 18, boy.
It'd be like, boy, I ain't got Hulk Hogan's money. Why you trying? You know what I mean? Like, he can't afford to rip up the shirt. You can't. So yeah, but yeah, I used to that was my guy. Anytime I got the chance to watch him on TV.
So who was your favorite MMA fighter then? There must have been one.
That's hard.
Or was you like a bouts guy? 1 minute you'd be like GSP, then you'd see someone else.
No. Yeah, but because the way the sport presented itself is hard to just say, yeah, I just like this one guy, even though there's so many of them. Like I said, with Fedor Emelianenko, the Shamrocks, like you said, the Chocolate Dells, the Anderson Silvers, even Chelsonen, you know, um, um, I forgot the brother that beat GSP, little shot brother. I'll just
Matt Hughes.
no. I'll
Is
just I'll just coach Matt Serra. That's it.
Matt Serra.
Matt
Because did
Serra.
Matt Hughes beat GSP as well? Because they had 2 fights.
Yeah,
I swear
he
he
got
tapped him.
he got a win. He got a win on. Yeah,
He
he
tapped
does
him,
got a
no?
win on him. Yeah, he got a win on him. And
Matt Serra was a G.
Rashad Evans with Rampage. You know, their era of crazy shit going on
That was
between both of
funny.
those two guys. You know what I mean? And watching them in tough was crazy. And then people like Bisping came along and you know what I mean, just went on the mad one and brought Bisping, but it brought a different kind of energy, you know what I mean? That bulldog energy that you
Yeah,
that you like to see. So
yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But it's hard to just name one fighter because I'm a type of fan because it's an individual sport. Yes, maybe you like one guy way more than the others. And if I had to choose one, gun to my head, I'd probably say Anderson Silva. But I
My
don't.
guy, that's it. That's why I love him. That's why he's
Gun
my
to my
brother.
head, I'll probably say Anderson Silva. But because of the asterisk to his name, is why I don't always choose him because he got busted for PEDs. So I then divert that to GSP. You know what I mean? Because GSP did some crazy stuff in his career. You know, he did some wild stuff, man. And you know, one of GSP's probably best performance for me, and a lot of people don't rate it, but it was a jabbing masterclass. This happened in Toronto against Josh Koscheck,
Yeah, of course.
and them two were
Tough
tough
again.
coaches, tough coaches. Yeah, Koscheck,
Aye, bro. Aye.
mouthy motherfucker, right? And what GSP did to him, like I said, is a jabbing masterclass.
He
Like
tortured him. He did
he
that
just
deliberately.
tortured
He,
him
he just
for
tortured. He just.
5 rounds, just
I'm not gonna knock
battered
you
him,
out. Just make
just
that eye
battered.
fatter
He
and
just
fatter
battered
and
him,
fatter.
and Koscheck had nothing for him. You know, um, uh, it's crazy. It's
I came
crazy.
out at the end, bro. Do you remember when he announced it at the end when it went to a judge's decision? I
Yeah,
swear, the only reason why it went to a judge is because GSP just wanted to beat him up for 5 rounds. Now, you don't typically associate that with GSP because he's not you would say, an aggressive or evil person, but
yeah.
it was that he punished him.
But you were so pissed off because Koscheck was on him the whole season, like, and you know, everybody knows GSP personality, right? He just took it and took it and took it, didn't really rise to it. And then when the time came for him
He popped his eye.
to answer for his crimes, GSP made him pay. It was one of my favorite fights for GSP, man, and the way he just dispatched of it, but he just punished him. He just wanted to punish him in front of the whole crowd. But yeah, Marty Mouse is another one, man. You know what I mean? You can't talk about some of the best G's in the game and not talk about Mighty Mouse. But yeah, Anderson Silva was just different. He was levels, like
Yes, he was.
fire IQ, reflexes, finishing moves, one punch KO. You can put the combis together. You don't know where the next finishing strike is coming from. And it was yeah, Yoto Machida is another one though.
The Up Machida
Yoto
as well, yeah.
Machida was
Hey, well, I used to
different.
like Forrest Griffin back in the day as well, right? That was a
Yeah,
serious fighter as well,
yeah.
bro.
Forrest Griffin was all hot, bro.
The
You
the,
know what I
the, the,
mean?
the
Like,
two the two Matts, like Ola said, Sarah and Hughes. Now Matt Hughes was a G as well. I have to say, I like Matt Hughes, man. He was but Matt Sarah was one of my favorite back in the day. Take your
yeah, man.
time, no rush. You got loads of time, like that proper like thick New York accent that he had. The way you'd hear him streaming instructions across the you get take your time, take your time. But on Bargav's point here, one of the most dangerous entrances and finishes I've seen with knees was him and Rich Franklin too, when he got him in that butterfly clinch and he just wouldn't let him out of it. and he just started tucking into his ribs, bro, with the high knees, and you could just
Yeah,
see
man.
Rich, bro. He was trying to block it, but because he couldn't really like get away from the cage, and
Uh,
Anderson Silva was just laying into him.
the thing with Anderson Silva, the and the way he fights, whatever you're defending is opening up something else for him. So just because you're defending something, he's already knowing what you're leaving open, and you're getting smacked with the elbow as you go down to defend that knee. You leave your chin up, and it's coming in with the elbow. His clinch game, like you said, to brag of points, it was. I mean, his Muay Thai was just different, man. His BJJ yeah, he had everything. He had everything, man. He had everything, and yeah, Vitor. That's the
Vitor
Vitor.
Belfort, what a
Vitor.
fighter!
Vitor is the vote of TRT, bro. Like, you know what I mean? When it comes to getting juiced, when it comes to getting juiced up, um, yeah, like
Heartbreaking, isn't it? It was
Vitor,
heartbreaking.
yeah, Vitor is different. Man. It's a good fighter, but nah, not for me, man. Not even among the greats like that, man. But yeah,
Nick, yeah,
uh,
Nick and Nate as well. They were good back in the day. I remember when Nate
yeah.
came through, when
Uh,
Nate came
uh,
through of Ultimate Fighter. That was so funny.
I'm a big fan of the Diaz brothers as well. You know what I mean? I love
Do you
the
remember?
Diaz brothers, and
Do you remember Ortiz Liddell
yeah,
on Ultimate Fighter and how they
yeah,
used to beef it out
bro.
every week?
It's probably one of the best tough seasons ever, man. Ortiz, them two, big big knuckleheads, man. Big knuckleheads. They mashed up production so much, mashed up the house. So, kind of like Rampage and Rashad's, but yeah, those two legends. Ortiz not very liked, you know what I mean, amongst the would you say MMA community, but what he gave to the sport was mad, and a lot of I've seen some of his interviews where he talked about all the injuries that he had, and he's got shitload of them. I think he said something about 400 different types of
Ouch.
injuries and surgeries that he's had to do. His all his bones get rearranged, and that the things he had to do to go back into the cage and try and stay at the top was just crazy. And he said, it's one of the things that he would like to see improve in the sport, because when you leave the sport, you don't leave, you live you leave a large portion of yourself in that cage, and they have to help them get back on their feet once you retire from the sport. That's something that they now have to incorporate into sport, that I think um would help a lot of the up and coming fighters, because the generations that that paved the way for these guys now, they need to start seeing better returns, because they're putting in more effort. The sport has evolved so much. They're putting in a lot of work into cutting weight in the right way. All the safety measures that are now available to them. The Performance Institute is crazy with all the technology that check their breathing, the muscle effects, even fast twitch fiber. You can literally measure all this sort of stuff that they now have available to them. Um, and it's good. It's good to see the way it's evolving still, but they need to help all these guys that's now retiring, and just don't let them waste away. Um, like some of the,
Well, I think
this,
that's another thing you just said actually, because you said about what happens after you finish in the sport, and I think Leroy's just said about Nick Diaz there about how he lost his prime years. Now, one thing about it is I agree with what Ola's saying massively. For another reason, in the sense of the game's so high now, in terms of the level of MMA is so high. You'll be lucky when when you're finished fighting if you don't retire
mm,
with so many injuries, because
yeah,
you have to push. That's the thing.
I,
It's not like
bro,
you can't be
I
lazy
I
and have
would love, I would hate to see Tony Ferguson retire now in the state of mind that he's in, with no help, with no care in the world from the institution that he gave so much for. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So they need to have that plan
look at
in
Chuck
place
Liddell.
for yeah. You're right. You're right. They need to have that plan in place for some of these guys, where they can get some kind of benefits from from giving so much of the sport, because not everybody is just gonna rise to fame and rise to wealth like Conor McGregor did, for example, in a short space of time, and and he just captured the sport in the way that he did. So not everybody's going to be like a Conor McGregor, but that's something that they need to that they need to do. Oh yeah, yo Romero, and no, yeah, it was different, and this is what I was saying this yesterday about somebody like a Robert Whitaker going 10 rounds. Well, yo Romero, like for the most part, people don't even want to do 5 rounds with yo Romero. This guy went 10 rounds with him, broke his arm in one of them, beat yo Romero. Then in the other one, broke his foot and still beat yo Romero over 10 rounds. And that's probably the fight that really made me sit up and notice Robert Whitaker in a whole different light. And for what, bro, I fucking respect you, man, because yo Romero is an intimidating human being, man, and we've seen him knock out so many people. So
Well, let me ask you about that. In your whole experience with MMA, right? Because I'm going to ask you one more about the sport, then I want to ask you a bit more about you. But in your view of the sport, from what you've seen over the time, and you've studied it in depth as well, in hindsight, like even as you got older and you've got more into the journalism side of it, like who would you say was the most underrated fighter in your viewpoint?
the most underrated. That's that's a good question.
While Ola's thinking about the answer, big shout out to Yao and the Kick 'em in the Head podcast. Big kiss to Keith.
Yo, big old Wolfie. I want to say Anthony Rumble Johnson. Rumble Johnson was so underrated, and that brother fought in 3 different weight classes, just like Jared Cannonier. He's got power in every division. 185, 170, 205. This brother got crazy power. When you look at some of the stuff that he did in the cage, go back and look at Anthony Rumble Johnson punches DC and watch how far he sends DC back with one punch.
Staggered him
And I'm
bad, if I
talking
remember correctly.
across the cage.
Yeah, if I
Across
remember
the cage,
correctly.
nearly enough all the way to the other end, from one end right to the other end. He's got God's power, man. And yeah, he's probably one of the fighters that I would say critically underrated. God rest his soul. Died early. But top fighter in my opinion. I love that guy. But Anthony Romy Johnson for me, if I was to pick one. There's quite a few, but if I was to pick one.
Right, well, off the top of my head, I'd like to say that I think Stefan Bonner was one of the most underrated fighters, because not only was he a good fighter, he was also a very good guy.
Yeah,
he was one of those guys that everyone loved him. Everyone loved Stefan Bonner. Everyone. And as far as I know, he never tanked or juiced or anything, as far as I know.
But Bagov is right here. Damian Myers, another one. Very, very underrated for his skill set. You know what I mean?
Yeah, BJ Penn, that's another guy I'd like to bring into the equation as well, because he was mad skilled in terms of his jiu-jitsu and everything. That guy was an innovator. Like, in terms, don't get me wrong, I know people built up their skill sets to eventually overtake him, but the way he dropped, like the idea of that guy when he first arrived and he got his title, if he got you to the ground, that was it. Forget it. You ain't getting up. He'll either tie you up or submit you, one or the other. I've got so much love for BJ, and he had the attitude. You know what I mean? Like, he had that I don't give a fuck attitude. You know that.
And that's another one that you think to yourself, he should get better from the UFC. After his career, look at my boy in the background. Look at him in the background. If you just
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Look
Is
at my
that
boy in
Izzy?
the background. Yeah, that's easy, man. You know what I mean? He's about to do his thing this weekend, man. Bro,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
worried. I
Don't do
am
what Leon did a couple of weeks ago. Please don't do it again.
I'm breaking it, man. Bro, I'm breaking because I like both of the guys that's fighting, man. And sometimes I've been in those situations where both of the guys that I fuck with are about to fight for the title. You know what I mean? We just had it with Yako Duplessis and Luke Michael. You know what I mean? We've had it with Gift and Terrence Balelo.
My
We see
God, Terrence, that Black Panther Malello, bro. All I know
shout
I'm
out
gonna do,
Terrence,
bro.
man. Shout out
That's
Terrence.
my boy right there,
Big up
man.
Black
Much
Panther.
love to him.
You know, we've seen it we've seen it here now with Dricos. You know, we've been on the Fight Week show and he's about to get in there with Easy. So yeah, this weekend is gonna be a tough one for me. You know what I mean?
You're gonna be
Um,
squirming, aren't you? You're gonna be
bro,
because
I'm
you
gonna
know
be.
them. That's the thing. You know them as well to a
Oh,
degree. Now that's
bro,
what makes it worse.
it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. You know, bro, it's gonna hurt. I'm not looking forward to it. Um, this is probably one of the fights. You know what I mean? Obviously, I know one of them. Easy, I don't know, but he's my countryman. And I've been following his career since he got into the UFC, even from his glory days. And when you look at the the f- the land, the time that is spent from chasing the interim all the way to defending the title and then losing it and getting it back, go to
Right.
205, lost there, came back down. It's laid a marker. I feel like he's laid a marker because it was a very busy champion. Even before he was a champion, very active fighter. Until he just took the sabbatical here. But I don't know what that's gonna do. But yeah, that fight that worries the hell out of me because Dricos I know, and we've spoken to Dricos a few times, and the dog in that brother is next levels. When he told us, and Leroy was there, that what he was going to do to Robert Whitaker, Whitaker don't understand it yet. And when he gets in there with him, Whitaker will know. He said what he was going to do to Darren Till, and he got in there and got that job done. So far, so good. And his that finishes up until the Strickland fight. So this weekend is big, bro. Is massive. It's massive, man. With Dricos Duplessis and Easy, and obviously the issue between both of them as well. Let's hope it's not like the Mokai fight and the Mano Cap fight. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like those two literally went at each other until they threw them in the cage and they didn't want to fight. You know what I mean? So I hope we don't get that, and I believe Dricos is not going to fight like that, and Easy wants a fighter to rush him down, to chase him down, so he can get those counter striking in. But it didn't work against Strickland because Strickland just pressured him the whole way and give Easy no space to get his counter shots off. Will Dricos do the same thing? We don't know. We really don't know if Dricos is going to do the same thing.
Well,
So
the thing is, it's fairly funny you mentioned about Izzy because Izzy has. It's funny actually because you said about Anderson Silva has that in his game where if you go to protect one thing, you open up another hole, and Izzy has that in his game as well. He has that
yeah,
all round perception where he can pick. But I think you know what it was. Right, I think because it's funny you mentioned the Strickland fight because he beat him in the rematch. But the thing is, I think the original lack of respect surprised Izzy because not many people just literally just throw punches at him, continue, and that's pretty much what Strickland did. He didn't give him time to
mm,
think,
mm,
and I think Izzy was probably hang on a minute, like this is unusual. I'm not used to this. But in the second fight, he was a lot more aggressive because one thing about you're not a champion unless you dictate pace. So you know what I mean, like, and I think we go back to the evenness of some of these guys' skill sets where It's just those slight margins, maybe that little bit more aggression or that little bit more caution will cost you. You know what I mean? Like it's because the level is so high. You know what I mean? Like so, I do think I Izzy's one of those guys. He's a modern great. Is he in the same sort of categories as Silva? Probably, to be honest. If he hasn't juiced and Silva's been proven to juice, then he's probably above him, to be honest. So
There you go.
you could
I'll put
argue
him
that
there. I'd willingly drive my bus
over people.
over Anderson Silva right now for that.
Yeah,
Clip
all the
that.
buses.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the buses
My
in
bus
full
is
swing.
active, bruv.
Oh, big up DJ Crane in the building as well. Big up the Wolfman and the
Yes,
Scorpion
DJ
King.
Crane. Big up yourself.
Man said
That's
man
my
said the
guy.
Scorpion. Man said the Scorpion King. You know.
Yeah, man. Come on. Go check out man's name from Twitter days, bruv. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where all this baby was coming from. Go check out man's name on there, man. It's Black Scorpion out here, man. What are you talking about, bro? Come on.
Big up HTT in the building as well. Ola, Wolf, ladies, gents, cheers. Big up, bro.
Salute to
Hope you're
here
doing
to
well,
there.
man. Salute
Big
to you,
love.
sir. Daz as well in the building. Big up. Let's subscribe to this guy's channel as well. Does a football channel. Does all these bits and pieces on there. Big up, Daz. Hope you're well. Big up, Wolf. Are you doing predictions? League predictions.
We can do that quick still. Yeah, we can do that quick still.
Well, we could
get
do
that,
that
man.
in a minute, but Ola
Can
is
get
the
that,
guest here, and I want to pick because it's not often I actually get a chance to talk to Ola about him and his life and all that kind of jazz, and that's kind of what the Wolf Den's about. We can talk about football a little bit, but I'm conscious of the guy's time, you see, because he does work hard, he does have a lot on, and even though I could talk to the guy for hours, I'm not gonna do that to him because he looks tired as it is. This guy always looks tired. So, but.
That's because I'm always fucking tired.
I know, bro. Quite often,
but man, we get the grafting.
He hasn't fallen asleep during a stream yet, though. Not yet. No. Or has he? I'm not sure. I'll be like, oh
no. You won't find a stream where you won't find that stream. You know what I mean? No, you won't find that stream.
I hope not. But anyway, smash the likes. Remember, if you are subbed on my channel and you're not Tottlers, please sub to the Fight Week show. These guys are top dogs, all of them. And they always. We've already spoken about wrestling, Daz. To be honest, we spoke about that earlier on and about the heartbreak of realizing it wasn't real and all that kind of. So rewind the stream and you rejoin us. Yeah. So back to you. So you saw all these idols, you saw all these wrestlers, you saw all these boxers, right? What made you get into MMA yourself? Was it the idea of becoming a fighter? Was it the idea? Oh, you bastard, Oris! Man says too cool. Shut up! Shut your face, Money Mace. Shut your face. But anyway, yeah. Was you always looking to be a football journalist, an MMA journalist? Was this the path you always foresaw, or was you looking to become a fighter? What was your personal driving force when you first got into it when you were young?
For me, it was again trying to copy what they do on TV and stuff like that, and you just had fun with it as kids. But when you come into the sport with social media being what it is, it was more of a way for me to give back to the community, especially the fighters. I wanted to do something to to help the up and coming fighters, the fighting prospects, and just shine the light on them. The guys that people might not know about yet, from different promotions, but very, very talented individuals. And we set on the path to form the Fight Week show. Sadly, after Chick passed away, we was running the combat show there with me, Chig, and Will. We did that for like 3 years, 2-3 years, and obviously with Chig's passing, we couldn't continue with the channel because of some login problems with YouTube. They just wouldn't let us in, so we made a new channel, the Fight Week show. And for me, it was more of giving back to the MMA community, helping the young prospects, especially fighters that were looking for sponsors that didn't really have money. A lot of them were still working normal jobs like we do. and they don't get that light on them, and just setting up a platform that can at least put their name out there, so people that didn't know them before, whether it's one person, whether it's 10 people, whether it's 100 people that didn't know them before that now knows of them, that's exposure for them. And if I can give that to those guys, and obviously build a platform off the back of that, then it's a win-win situation for us. And it's with a lot of hard work, a lot of support from all of you guys that watches our content. We've put a hell of a lot of content out there. Some did well, some not so well, but the grind stays the same, because that's what you really want to portray and put forward when you're putting on a platform like this together. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot of as having a YouTube channel, it's hard to to run a content, and be consistent with it. So it's one of the hardest thing, and being a family man as well. So that stuff is tough, but mainly is to to give back to MMA community and help fighters that were up and coming. And a lot of these guys are going to get in the top flight very, very soon. Some of these guys that we've had on our channel, we've
Black
had on,
Panther.
they're gonna hit the big time. A lot of them that we've had on the channel, people that wasn't in the UFC before they came on our channel, and they went on Contender Series, got a contract, and they're people like Sam Patterson, Cameron Simon is one of them, you know, um, and that's the path. We know one young guy that's just coming up, Damien Mangan, is from Stoke. Lethal young kid, 16, 17. He's up and coming in the MMA world, and he's going to be a superstar. He's going to be another one of the top fighters that fights out of the UK. So these are the type of things that we're trying to bring to the people and show the people that, hey, listen, there are hidden gems out here, and these guys are going to hit the big time very, very soon. And what I remember, when we spoke to John Gooden, and he said to us, "Don't stop what you're doing, because it's platforms like yours that we find out the superstar before they become the superstar, and you can then say, oh, I know this guy from way before he came to this place, and I know he's been doing stuff." You know what I mean? So a lot of people that might not know him, they'd sleep on him. You'd already know one or two things about him, and you thought, oh, well, this guy is about to surprise everybody, because they don't even know what they're about to witness right now. But you don't already know that guy. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
but
that's
I relate because that's how why
that's
I
what
do
I'm
this Wolf Den thing, because a lot of people just see us as content creators and don't truly know us as people. This
mm,
is why I do the Wolf Den thing, because like exactly the reason, the way you like interview the fighters, because obviously you see their fights. Obviously you're not always lucky enough to see their amateur fights before they go
mm,
full professional.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
and it's always good to see the personal side of them as well, because it relates back to what we were watching in Tough.
Mm,
Because in terms of like, it's okay. We always used to see them at the events fighting, but it's in Tough was when you used to see their personalities when they were coaching at home or they were chilling in gym, and you got to see what they were really like. And I suppose as you as a fight fan, it must be like the ultimate buzz, really, isn't it? Because you're talking to the next big thing before they even drop. And you develop
yeah.
friendship, and you develop friendships with them, of course.
Yeah. 100%. And these are the sort of nice builds, and really, because if I'm big up to my boy Leroy, because when we started this journey, it was crazy. It was chaos that came with it. There was a lot of people that were on board that's no longer on board with what we were doing. And me and Leroy just stuck at it. There was just a point where it was just two of us, and you know what I mean, we just rode it out, and we did what we were doing. So Leroy knows exactly what I'm talking about, man. It's been a lot of it's been a lot of hard work just to get to where we are, and without the support of everybody that's helped us, would never have even gotten to this point, which is one of the reasons why we do what we do. And yeah, shout out to my boy Lee Gunner as well, man. He's been a big part of, you know, supporting my channel, helping it grow. and a lot of Arsenal fans that's on there, and all the other fans across the Premier
Look,
League. They
don't
all
worry.
come and show support on there as
Lee
well, man.
Gunner has
So
graced my channel, by
that's
the way. He's been on my channel, so no, he
that's
has.
my
He
that's my
has.
boy. No, 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 that's my
So,
boy, man.
yeah,
And
a
yeah,
bit
big up to
crazy though.
yeah. Huh?
He's a bit crazy though. I tell you what, you think the crazy factor is there when you watch him on stream. You wait until the cameras go off and you talk to him, but it's even
Yeah,
funnier.
bro.
I'm telling you.
I'm probably one of a handful of people that's been to his house, been around his family. We've been up and down the country together.
Yeah, I've
We,
seen
you know,
barrel pictures of you two jumping in and out of cars, man. Yeah, man.
we've yeah, man. Like I know him off camera. That he's a wild brother. You know what I mean? But he's a good brother, and he's probably the most misunderstood, one of the most misunderstood human beings who work in the face of the fucking planet. I don't understand it, but when
Yeah.
you spend time around him, you really see what he's like. Like
He's a funny guy,
he's
man. He's a chilled
he's
out
a
guy.
proper he's a proper lovable brother, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
man. Lee's proper funny.
it's not everybody's cup of tea. You know what I mean? But I
Lee's
know him differently, so
no, you know what it is.
I can
Lee
only speak
speaks
to my
his mind,
experience with
and
him.
he doesn't follow the consensus. That's probably what a lot of people rub him, because, like you said about social media nowadays. Now,
Mm.
but back in the day for us, the truth used to dictate the truth. Now, social media dictates the truth, because now it appears if a lie spoken 1,000 times becomes the truth if enough people are saying it, which is absolutely crazy for me. But there you go. That's modern
Yeah,
media
man.
for you. So,
I
you're right, yeah, you're a very young age. You decide you want to get into mixed martial arts or some kind. Where did you start? Because I know you've been training under your sensei for a long time. You've been involved in it yourself for a while. When did that start and all develop?
um I want to say when I really took up like pad work, gym, and training with my sensei. I want to say maybe 6 years, but it got ramped up during COVID. You know, what I mean, during COVID was like when I really ramped it up, and I thought, yeah, you know what, I got quite a bit of time on my hands here with lockdown and stuff. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, we'll do our COVID tests positive, and then we'll train. You know what I mean? We'll get the training in, and that brother used to whoop my ass. Like that, you know what I mean? Go and train with him, do laps, cardio work, bag work, and then a bit of jiu-jitsu, a bit
What?
of
Yeah. What styles did you learn? That's what I was going to ask.
um sweeps, guards, how to defend yourself, offensively, little arm bars and komoras, rear naked chokes, taking backs from mount transition, how especially how to defend yourself without giving your backup. So there were so many things, and this is what I was saying, because I was so bad, still bad earlier on. This brother used to whoop my ass, but it makes you come back to want to learn more, and probably one of the fun parts for me. You know what I mean? Because I just wanted to learn, and not just wanted to learn, but I wanted to know what the hell I was watching on TV. You know what I mean? And that was one of my fascinations to it. Like, you know what? I could do this thing here, but nah. Um, I couldn't do it to the level of some of the people that I've seen. You know what I mean? And yeah, there's some people in some of these gyms that would embarrass you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They would embarrass you and make you very easily make you think your life is worthless right now. Your life is in their hands and you're worthless right now. You know what I mean? Unless you tap and beg, to get out of
Don't
this.
break my arm.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's mad. But shout out
What?
to
What?
Sensei.
Well, can I ask you a question? When you were learning,
Mm.
what was your favorite thing to learn?
It was for me. It was always jujitsu, right? I've always got love for jujitsu, but Muay Thai was something that I've always wanted to do, but can't do it. But I've always wanted to do it, and it looks painful. Even when you the one delivering the strike, it still looks like whoever's delivering the Muay Thai strikes is still getting some pain from it, man. You know what I mean? It just looks painful.
Yep.
But for me, yeah, Muay Thai. If there's a sport that I love, like a discipline that I would say, not sport, but discipline that I love so much out of mixed martial arts that I would love to have done, but there's no way in God's earth that you know what I mean I could pull it off. It's definitely Muay Thai. But I do
Why would
love
you
wrestling
say that?
though.
Why would you say? Why would you say
just
you could pull it
just
off?
it's just tough, bro. Like it's it's different level striking in it. Like you got to
Mhm.
get your striking on point, but everything that you do with your elbow is just to hurt, like just put hurt on people, bro. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's tough. And for me, I think to really, really get into Muay Thai, even Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, I think at some point you gotta go to the native countries where they originate from to really get the feel of what that sport is really about, to get the origin. And one day these are things I want to do. You know what I mean? Really get deep into the origin of the sport with the locals, with the with the people that really practice it. And yeah, it's one of the things that's on my bucket list.
Mhm.
That uh, when it's all said and done, I do want to do, and be able to go in there and talk to
All
these
right. Well,
people.
so can I ask you a quick? Judging by what you've just said, then, if you could turn back the clock and work on something a bit different or a bit better, would you focus more on Muay Thai?
I probably would. I probably would. Um, yeah, I probably would. But there's yeah, you see, it's Muay Thai is but the damage from the blunt forces it's mad. Like you delivering Muay Thai moves, you're probably getting hurt as much as the person that's receiving it.
And if you do it wrong, you're gonna do
If
fantastic damage.
bro,
Fantastic damage.
it's a wild discipline, bro. It's a
Eh,
wild
right.
discipline. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And on back, watching on back made me even fall in love with
Oh,
that
Umbak.
discipline.
Oh, Umbak. Umbak. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Tony
right.
Shaw.
Tony
Tony
Jaa,
Shaw, bro.
bro.
That is. Oh my
That
days.
that made me, you know what I mean? Like, nah, you know what? I love Muay Thai, but I don't know. I don't know. Look at what this brother is doing. God damn. You know what I mean? So Tony Jaa is another one that makes you look at Muay Thai in a whole different light. Way. You know what I mean? But yeah, you see their moves there in the cage. Trust me. I see some of the moves that he's doing there in the cage, man. And he's a big MMA fan as well.
Mhm.
Tony Jaa.
Because one thing I think Bargav will back me up on this, and I know for a fact Ola will agree. The thing is about Muay Thai, because you're using a lot of knees and elbows too. If you connect with those in the wrong place, you could easily dislocate an elbow, shoot at your knee. Another great. Look what happened with Anderson Silva when he got a leg kick wrong and he snapped his own leg.
For
Do you
real.
remember that? Yeah, do you remember that, Ola? When Anderson Silva
Yeah.
broke his leg? Oh,
Yeah, the horrible scenes, horrible scenes, man. But these are one of the iconic moments. I would say brutal, but iconic. Some will call it. You know what I mean? But
right.
yeah, there's been some crazy times up there, man. In the
Well,
MMA
put it
world,
so we need to start wrapping this up. So just quickly, you said you wanted to talk a little bit about the football predictions. All right.
Yeah,
How do you think this? Because I know you got to go. So how do you think Arsenal will do this year? Or do you think this might be big mix last season?
because the window ain't shut yet. I know we're not winning the title. Not with what we've done so far. If the window shuts tomorrow and the league starts tomorrow, with the league starting tomorrow, but the window don't shut tomorrow, so I can't really give it yet. But I can say, as of this moment, I still make City the favourites. We'll probably finish in the top three, depending on what Liverpool do. They still got dangerous players in their team. They still got the Salahs, they still got the Van Dijks, and they still got McAllister. They still got couple man that can really hurt you. You know, that can hurt your team when they get it together. If Jota can stay fit, who knows what Liverpool can do this season if Jota can stay fit and give him 20-25 games. So I'll probably say, yeah, top three in the league, but I want to say second or third, depending on what Liverpool do. But I don't think we're going to get past City. As for United, if I'm going to say top six, I'll go Tottenham six, Chelsea fifth, United fourth, Liverpool third, Arsenal second, and City end up where they always end up. So you just never know. But yeah, I would say City wins again. Maybe the 115 charges. My who knows? I was going to say he was on mute there. So maybe the 115 charges, man. Might we'll they said we're going to get the result to that in January or sometime in 2025. So we'll see.
Well, I
See
was
how
just gonna
the
say,
effects.
I agree with where your position where Chelsea is, but if we get Osherman, because I don't think the way
If
we're
you
leaking
if you
goals.
if you get Osimhen, that changes the tiny little bit. The only problem is I don't know how your manager is gonna fit into the pressure of the Premier League, especially when you got the Conference League to go as well, right? So because you got Conference League to play for, and I should be winning, I should be thinking he'd want to win that tournament anyways. You're in it, you might as well go and win it. You know what I mean? There's no need, there's no point shying away from it. So if you win it, you know what I mean. You if
Well,
you're
you
in it,
do
you go and
realize
win it.
if we do that, we're the only club in history to complete football in terms of every single competition won multiple times. You know that
Yeah, club football. Yeah, I know.
in
You've
terms
won.
of
You've won.
everything.
Yeah, you've
Even
won.
though Real Madrid would have done that, despite their well, then again they won the big boy ridiculous amounts. They weren't even looking at the
Yeah,
little
I
trophies.
mean,
But
yeah, yeah,
what's
yeah,
that?
yeah. But when we're talking about every thing that every trophy that club football needs to win, yeah, you man probably complete the set still because you've won a lot of them trophy during the Abramovich hole. So but look, it's it's what it is. I'm looking forward to the season. The season kicks off tomorrow with Man United playing at Fulham. We got Wolves coming up on the weekend. So will you log out again? Who's your first game?
City.
Oh yeah. You got City in it.
I
Oh
know you. Don't
the
try and
the
test me with
oil,
your
but
trick questions, bro. Don't try and test me your trick questions. Man
the
trying to
oil
make a fool out
brothers,
of me,
huh?
like.
The oil brothers is about to they're gonna link up on the first of the season, yeah. Yeah, I see
Bro,
what
I'll
you
tell you
want.
what, yeah. If
The
we
blue
can knock
the,
knock
the
you off,
blues brothers, yeah, the blues brothers.
don't
What it
mock me, bro.
is
Yeah.
that what it is? The blues brothers, yeah.
And on that note, we're ending the stream, fellas. Like, no, joking. I'll tell you what. I'll be
Oh,
real with you,
okay.
we have a chance as long as we don't get robbed. Because I'm telling you, like the last time we played City in the FA Cup, we had a ball bounce off a player's arm in their box. It should have been a stonewall penalty, and we didn't even get a corner. So if we don't get fucked by the referees, we have a chance.
Are you
But the chance.
talking about Anthony Taylor by any chance?
I hope he's not
He's the
refereeing the
best
match.
ref in the league. He's the
That's
best
only because you're
ref in the
Arsenal fan.
league.
He's an Arsenal fan, bro. He gives you guys all the love. Shits on us on a
He's
regular.
the best ref in the league. You're talking about Anthony Taylor here by any chance, bro? Come on. Yeah, we
Big
know
up,
what
kick
it
him in
is.
the head past podcast, yeah. No, joking. No, but Ola, thank you so much for your time. Is it? Please just quickly let everyone know where to find you guys because I've already put the link there. Tell them what's going on over the weekend, brother.
Yes, people. Tomorrow you can find us on the Fight Week show. We're going to be doing the prediction show for the UFC 305 people. Make sure you come and join us on there. We're going to be picking, making our picks, and then on the Saturday when the fight actually takes place, can come link us on the Fight Week show. Make sure you're hitting that notification button. It'll let you know when we actually go live. We're going to be doing the main card watch along, and we're going to be joined by Leroy. Adrian Sanchez is going to be pulling up EFC lightweight. You might ever saw Adrian Sanchez on one of our shows. You always catch him on Dust Up Shakedown. Is going to be pulling up, and We're gonna have Yao on as well. Yao's gonna be pulling up
Kick
on
him in the head.
the 5 week show. So yeah, come and check us on there, man. And yeah, we're gonna be kicking it, man. And if you want to see me squirm, make sure you pull up for that main event, man.
I'll drop a
Because
super chat for
Jesus
that.
Christ,
I'll drop a super chat for that.
yeah, I'm gonna be hurting, bro. I'm gonna be hurting. But yeah, thank you very much for the invite, bro. Salute to you, man. And big up Rosie as well. I see Rosie in the chat, man. Big up to everybody in the chat that stayed with us up until now. Salute. Big love.
Yeah, big up everyone that's been watching, everyone that's got involved. I've got to kind of wrap this up quickly because I promise Ola will be finished. That's it, Daz. You're my bro, man. That's it. That's what we want to talk about. Positive vibes. 2-1, 2-1. So yeah, smash a like, smash a sub to the 5 week show. Catch D'Lo Brown and Dracula for their watch along over the weekend. D'Lo Brown will be squirming. He'll be doing all this shit again. Like trust me, because he's got 2 of his brethren there. So
hey, relax, Robocop, man. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, man. Just because I said you need to get a transformer fucking shit, I just fucking sorts itself instead of Robocop by walking around.
bro,
like
that fisherman's hat you're wearing is cutting off the circulation to your head, brethren. All right. As I said, loosen that hat and that headset, please. No. On that note, big up everybody because Ola needs to go.
Yeah, lying still, man. Yeah, lying, man. You know, come on, let's get that shit off. Come on, let's go.
Everyone, stay safe. God bless, and we are out of here, people.
Salute.